Well, it's just me and the birds and the power equipment at the neighbors behind me this morning. No Stewart for me to demonstrate exactly how I'm going to do this, but let me at least show you what will be done, and I'll show you an after once I get it completed. So this is the area of the large Chinese Snowball Viburnum that you saw blooming in its magnificent white palette earlier in spring, and now it's just got wonderful gray foliage, kind of with a silvery white underside to the leaves. So it is definitely a plant that serves its purpose over the entire growing season. So this whole area is looking a little bit ratty. Now it's something that I don't always feel really pressed to get done because there are things growing in the foreground like this abelia, and there's an arborvitae and some boxwood. So I never feel under a ton of pressure to get this area looking good because it's somewhat obscured by the plants in the foreground. You can see there's a boxwood ball topiary in the back. Here is this golden smoke tree that now is taking on more of a greenish cast as temperatures warm. But this area in general is starting to look a little bit ratty. So you'll see some run amok monkey grass back in there that I will dig out. The remnants of all of those white bloomers, those white spring bulb bloomers, narcissus, there were some tulips back in here. All of that foliage has died back now, and I will clear that away before it becomes a target for sow bugs and slugs, etc. And that area underneath the constant spry rose, that grows on the corner, isn't too bad. But there are some black spot leaves I'll clean up and just some general tidying. There's some lemon balm that also runs amok back there and some chives, and a lot of that I will just dig out. And then all of these suckers that are growing on these gorgeous trunks. I mean, I just love the beauty of these trunks. Again, this was just a common $11 shrub from Lowe's that I pruned up so that I could grow things underneath it, allowing enough light to get through for them to thrive. But you can see all of those suckers that are back there, and some growth that just starts to emerge from the trunks itself, and I'll clean that off. And basically I just use a good sharp pair of pruners, and I'll take those suckers off all the way down to the base. I will clean up whatever weeds are back in there. You can see some broken branches. I will probably trim back the nandina a bit, clean up the rose. There's a noisette rose that grows here in the corner on the west side. It's still got some pretty blooms on it. And I will do some tidying up there, particularly if there's any leaf spot leaves, because you don't want to leave those on the ground. They will then overwinter and those spores can get into the soil. And I don't really like the looks of how that nasturtium looks at the base of this smoke tree. So I'll clean this up, but I did plant a purple dome aster, and this is one of the reasons, you guys, that you cut back certain perennials, do the Chelsea chop, because look at all, I cut those basically I would say down to about 2 to 3 inches, and look at all the multiple stems and emerging growth that's coming up from it. So I'm going to tidy this up a little bit, just make it look more presentable, much neater, much more tailored looking. There's a shrimp plant back in there and an aronia. and some ground cover that's also gotten a little too rambunctious. I do love the way this Miss Lemonabilia kind of illuminates this space. So that's what I'm going to do in this area. And I wish I could show you exactly what I'm going to do, but I don't have two hands and I'll be moving about. But I will show you an after and you can see what all was done. Some of you may want to know the source of this wrought iron surround to that arbor vitae, and that is a Jardin, I think it's a birdcage support that came from Gardener's Supply. I'll try to do a swipe up on it. I think they're still available. And I'll clean this up as the entry into the potager. That sun is really bright this morning. So as I said, I always try to just tackle one area at a time. And I'll try to do this before it gets too hot. Temps are supposed to be in the 90s today. I need to rearrange these pots, rethink this whole area, prune up this gorgeous Chinese Snowball Viburnum. And when I get done, I will show you the rewards and the gratification of all of my hard work, and also tell you a little bit more about what's to come.